Hi everyone, welcome back to Young and Wifed Up. This is Marcella.
And I'm Gabby.
And thanks for joining us today for another episode.
Before we get into today's topic, if you are listening to our podcast on Spotify or on Apple Podcast, we would ask for you, if you haven't already, to go and leave a 5-star rate and review on both platforms, whatever platform you use. It helps us to get our podcast more visible on the feeds and the homepage, and also just boosts our stats so that, again, we can be more visible to others and others can find our podcast. So if you could take a second, go do that on Spotify. It's so easy. You just go to our podcast and click the stars, and that's all you got to do. On Apple Podcasts, you can do the same thing, but you can also leave a review, and leaving a review really helps us out. So thank you so much for doing that. And what about Patreon?
We would also love to see more of you over on our Patreon. We are going to be doing lots more Patreon exclusive content. It includes bonus episodes from me and Gabby. I think maybe we'll toss around the idea of doing one together. And also blog posts, and Gabby also makes like a ton of cool like digital goodies, which everybody else, the normies, have to pay for.
Yep.
But our patrons always get those for free, as far as I remember. Those are always
always
accessible
free
to all of our patrons. So there's different tiers to choose from depending on your budget or what kind of extra content you're wanting from us. And hopefully we'll see more of you guys over there as well.
Awesome. And I'm also tossing around the idea of bringing back the Amigas tier, because in a couple weeks we have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the whole situation. And last year we opened up a special tier for a really discounted rate. So if that's something that you are interested in, keep an eye out for that, because we only open it for one day. So we'll keep letting you guys know when we're anticipating opening that up. That way, if your budget doesn't, it's not good for like the $4 a month, which is the bestie tier. Our Amigas tier is like a crazy discounted rate. So we're going to get into today's episode, but I want to caveat that some of the things that we're talking about in today's episode and next week's, because we're going to make this one a 2-parter, is there a lot of things are going to also be fleshed out in a lot of bonus episodes that we've already done. So if you think that we're not going as deep into a certain part of our routine or rhythm, it's because we've covered it in depth in different bonus episodes. So you're definitely missing out if you don't head over to Patreon and listen to those bonus episodes, because we do a lot of really in-depth and more detailed routines and very specific things on the Patreon. So let's get into today's episode. We are going to talk about our personal and family rhythms. And this was kind of like a hodgepodge of different listener requests. A lot of it came from one of our patrons who just dumped a ton of requests regarding our habits and things that we do in our day-to-day life. And it seems like a lot of you guys, based on all the requests, want to know, what are we doing during the day? What are you guys doing? And so we thought we would do like a full current, because we've done morning routines, we've done evening routines in the past and on Patreon and in past main episodes, but this is all current stuff that we do, routines, habits, things with our husbands, things with our kids, like everything. We're going to just get into the nitty-gritty of our everyday life. So Marcella, can I have you start with your current morning routine?
Oh boy. Okay. So my days are and oxymoron. They're, like, very much the same, but then so very different every day. Like, there's always the, like, unpredictability of children, but I do try to keep mostly the same routine week in and week out, and, things obviously change, like, depending on if Jed's off that day and he's home, we tend to be a little bit more loosey-goosey with the routine because we wanna go out and do stuff as a family and that sort of thing, so, this is just I would say what I'm describing is probably more so the days that Jed is at work and I am at home by myself, and I will also say there are a few days in the week that my mom will come over and hang out with us for a few hours in the morning. And that's always nice because we can sometimes tag team, and I'll have the kids with something and she'll be like doing some housework and then vice versa, which is like it is such a blessing. For a while there when they were not living out here near us, I didn't really have a whole lot of hands-on help at all. My grandparents would come and my grandma would help every once in a while, but they lived kind of farther away, so anyway, that is a huge help that my mom is here, and I know it's a huge blessing, and a lot of women are not privileged to have that, and I'm just super blessed that I can have some hands-on help and just company in the first part of my day, a few times a week. So and then other times she's, like, working on her own thing at our house, and she's doing, like, stuff on her computer or whatever. So anyway, so first thing in the morning, I'm nursing Liam. I'm still breastfeeding him, but he is only nursing once in the morning and that's it. And I like have fought to keep that one nursing session going for as long as I can. And I think the past couple of months we've like turned a corner that now he actually like we both really enjoy that time together now because before I think he was just so distracted by everything because they first get mobile and then all these different things happen anyway. So nursing Liam first thing in the morning, and then I get myself and the kids up and ready for the day. So usually my oldest like just takes care of all of that himself. I don't really have to do anything with him. But my 3-year-old, I have to get him up, potty dressed, the whole shebang. And then I'll go through the house and kind of reset the bedrooms and main living areas. So the house is usually pretty tidy by the end of the day, but sometimes odd things can like get left out that need to be taken care of the next morning. So sometimes there'll be like a few random dishes, from Jed and I having a late night snack or like we're trying to reset the beds or there's, blankets or, random laundry, just like little things. So I try to go through the house really quickly and just put a few things back. It's not like a major tidy. It's just like a quick whatever I can grab on my way to whatever it is that I'm doing. And then usually we'll unload the dishwasher and I do this and the 2 older boys will help me do this as well and to get any of the dishes put away that they can reach. Unload the dishwasher and then I'll get breakfast going. And then we have breakfast and then clean up breakfast, which usually takes a little while, especially when you have a baby that feeds themselves. It is a very messy ordeal. And then we have some free time before Liam's first nap of the day, mid morning, which is usually around 10 o'clock in the morning. So, and then if we ever have to run errands, we will usually go after Liam's first nap. So he'll usually nap for about 45 minutes to an hour in the morning, and then he has his longer nap in the afternoon, which I think people usually have it the opposite, but with babies who are on 2 naps. But I decided to have his longer nap in the afternoon because that's when the other boys also have their nap time and quiet time so that everybody is taking their long nap all at the same time
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
So yeah, after his first nap, we'll run errands before lunchtime, or if we have to drive a ways away, because there's like we don't have a lot of great grocery store options nearby. So, like, if we have to go to Costco or sometimes we like to go to Trader Joe's, that's a drive away. And when I say drive, I mean like 35 minutes or so.
Mhm.
And so sometimes we'll just throw him in the car and then Liam will nap on the way there and that will count like as his first nap that he usually has in the morning. So usually when he's napping, I am getting laundry going. I'm getting dough started for bread or things that I'm having to make. I'm prepping things for dinner, so I'm getting meat out and defrosting it, or I'm cutting up vegetables so I don't have to worry about that sort of thing later in the day when I'm wanting to, rest while the kids are resting. Or sometimes I'm reading with the boys. It really just depends. It kind of is like a rotation of like maybe 4 or 5 things that usually end up happening during that time span. So that is mostly our mornings. And then the days that Jet has off, it's like, we're at the park or we're running more
Yeah.
errands or going to see family. So, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, my morning routine, like most of the routines that I'm going to talk about in this series is going to be like mostly the time when I'm home most of the day and I'm feeling my best. I'd have to do like a whole other bonus episode or something about like my flare up routines or like when I'm having a high pain day or a high fatigue day. I have a completely different routine, but a lot of my routines and rhythms in my life I've kind of curated to have breaks in between so that I don't have a flare up. So everything that I do in my day is super, super intentional, even with like how often I have social engagements, how often I add anything extra to my plate. I like space things out intentionally so that I don't induce a health flare because my body's super sensitive when there's extra stressors. It just like things come to the surface. And I've just been dealing with it for a while. So I try to do everything I can to keep things as low stress as possible on my body, but there's some times that you just like can't help it. So again, most of the stuff I'm talking about today is like a good day where I'm feeling pretty well, and I have like a normal week, I guess you could say. So, I usually so Ryan works from home, just for anybody new listening. So a lot of our rhythms and routines kind of like intertwine with each other, even though we don't spend a whole lot of time together during the day. Like he is home for every single meal. I feed him every single meal. And so that kind of plays a part into a lot of our stuff. And then I also consider him if he needs to do an errand in the middle of the day, or if we only have one car. We're a one car family right now. It's only been this way since we moved to Nevada, and it's a little bit of an adjustment. There's some times where there's like some conflict, but for the most part, because I'm home full time, we're able to kind of like parcel out the car when we need to. So first thing in the morning, I make both of us breakfast, and I just like get out of bed, go straight downstairs and start breakfast. I open all of the curtains and the blinds and everything because I like the natural light coming in. I make us breakfast. Usually when I'm eating breakfast, both of us are downstairs. Ryan will start work downstairs typically, and he's eating breakfast at the table, and has his computer and he's starting work. And then usually I'm sitting on the couch eating my breakfast and like watching a YouTube video or just like catching up on my phone or something. And then we make coffee. It kind of goes back and forth who makes coffee. Right now, I'm the one that's been making it a lot. And then when I have my coffee, I'm planning my day. I'm looking at the chores I have ahead, and my night routine will also play a big part in this for the next episode. But if there's anything that I missed from the night before, I will plan my day that morning while I'm drinking my coffee, and I kind of catch up on text messages, and I do my Wordle and I do my mini crossword, and I have like all these little things that I do to get my brain going. And I even sometimes, I haven't done it in a while since before my surgery, but I do Q-list, which is like a 12 dice word game, and it's like a physical word game that you can do, and it's a solitaire game. And so I was doing that, was a part of my routine for a long time when I first got it, but I need to get back into it. So I do some things to kind of kickstart my brain when I'm like drinking my coffee and stuff like that. And then while I'm finishing my coffee, I go outside, I water the plants, I do some grounding, I look at the sun, I do some deep breathing. That's when I pray usually. And I will sometimes read my Bible and do my devotions outside. And after that, it's game time. It's time to work, time to get to work. So then after I've had like my slow, chill breakfast, coffee, grounding routine, I get to work. I put my headphones on and I do my Fly Lady morning routine, which is making the bed, starting a load of laundry. I do a load of laundry every day. And I take all my vitamins and supplements, liver, the whole shebang. And then I unload the dishwasher from the night before and I shine the sink if there's like any leftover dishes from either the night before or from the breakfast dishes. And yeah, and that like kick starts my day. And I've had the same Fly Lady morning routine for years and it's reliable. I can count on it. And even when I'm not feeling my best, thankfully Ryan like knows the routine so well too that he's able to jump in and take care of the morning chores when I'm in a flare up. So huge blessing because I had these rhythms instilled in me and my home. Ryan and anybody else that can come and help us can just easily like come in and out because everything is regimented. Everything is in a schedule and a rotation and a routine. And I have it like that on purpose so that it's easy for others to come in and out if I need help. So yeah, that's my morning routine. Speaking about devotions, because I mentioned that sometimes I do it in the morning. I wanted us to talk about our current personal devotional life. So Marcella, you want to talk about yours?
Yeah. So Bible reading, like sit down Bible reading is really sporadic for me throughout the day. Like there have been days where Bible reading is just having my Bible open on any like horizontal surface that I can find. And then just like, skimming through things here and there as I have like pockets of, a few minutes to read through whatever. And then also sometimes if I'm in the middle of housework or whatever, I'll also put on scripture to listen to. So like on the YouVersion app, I'll listen to scripture that way as well if it's just like really chaotic and I can't like sit down right then and there to get it done. And then usually I'll do prayer during the boys' quiet time and nap time in the afternoon. And I use the Prayer Mate app, which I mentioned in our last episode, which it's so nice because I feel like I'm like not having to rack my brain
Mm-hmm.
um to remember all the things that I want to be praying for. And it's all right there for me, just like listed out and just very specific things that I'm wanting to pray for. Um, and then let's see. I'm also almost always working through some Puritan work or the Valley of Vision, and that, like, I have a physical copy of the Valley of Vision, and then usually I'm listening to something from a Puritan, like on audiobook and Hoopla or something like that. And those are things I kind of pick up again, like during the day, random times during the day. So yeah, and then occasionally I'll go for a walk in the evening after the kids are in bed if Jed is home, and I'll listen to something on audiobook then too, which is really nice because it's in the evening. There isn't a lot of traffic. Like people are
Mm-hmm.
already home from work. It's kind of dark. It's really quiet, and so it's like going for a walk at a lot of times, or yeah, going for a walk a lot of times can be like really meditative for me.
Mhm.
And I'll just go kind of in the same circle on our street, just back and
Yeah,
forth. And that's also been really refreshing for me to do as well. So,
cool. So, plugging the Patreon again, because like I said, a lot of these routines we go into a lot more depth on Patreon. So, I did a blog post maybe earlier this year. Now I can't remember. This year has gone by so fast. I cannot believe that we're a month and a half away from a new year. Like my brain cannot fathom that. But I have a blog post on there called Private Worship for All Seasons, and I go in depth in my devotional life, including several different routines that I rely on and what seasons of life or my physical abilities or how busy I am that day, kind of like the levels that I do. And I go into depth with that. So check out that blog post if you haven't already. Um, but my current up to date devotional life is that I'm going through a Psalms and Proverbs plan on the YouVersion app, and I'm actually accountability partners with one of our listeners, and she has also been a patron. Her name is Penelope, so shout out to Penelope. She'll die when she listens to this because she she was first a listener, and then we realized that her and I are in the same denomination and in the same presbytery, and it's crazy. So she's come to visit me before. It's super fun. She's become such a close friend. And so her and I have become accountability partners. And I'm also have been an accountability partner with my other girlfriend, Ayana from California, and we go through plans together too. So it's just fun. If somebody asks me to be an accountability partner, I just say yes. Sometimes it's like I don't do each one every day, but the Psalms and Proverbs one I have been sticking to pretty well. Every 7 days it does a proverb, and then the other days it does a psalm. And then I also started implementing the Prayer Mate app after Marcella talked to us about it last week. And I also sent it to like all of my friends at church. So now we have like a crew of Prayer Mate people, and it's been so good. Like even last night during our church's prayer meeting, I was able to update a lot of like every single family from church and all of their needs. And it was so nice to have it right there. And now I can be praying for it during the week. And I don't have to, like you said, rack my brain and try to remember every single need of every single person. And it's just such a blessing. So thank you, Marcella, for that reco.
I
I'm
wanted to
also,
say really, really quick, the other thing that's nice about Prayer Mate is even if you have like 100 requests that you have to pray for,
Mhm.
you're not doing them all at once. Like because it
Yeah.
rotates through them, you know you're gonna get to all of them within
Yeah.
a week or, however many you have. So
Yes.
I don't know. It's just there's so many great things
Yeah,
about it.
each session, you can do a session like multiple times a day. So, like,
Mhm.
say I did a morning session and I say I want 5 requests, it'll just pool from 5 requests from all the different categories. You would think that we're like affiliate partners with PrayerMate, but we're not. They don't have an affiliate program. We just are like, we want everybody to pray more. We're not getting anything out of this. Just pray for us. Put us on your Prayer Mate app and
Yeah.
pray for us. There you go. That's what we'll get
We
out of
we
it.
have an official request.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, yeah. So I've been implementing the Prayer Mate app, and then current books that I'm going through. I'll actually show the YouTube watchers, all 5 of you. Um, so I'm currently, this is like my third read through of Let Me Be a Woman. I got this copy. I have a digital copy that I usually look through, and I have used for a ton of podcasts and just for my own edification and encouraging others. It's a super short book. It's so edifying. It's by Elizabeth Elliot. We did a book club a few years ago. Everybody remember the book club for Let Me Be a Woman. But this beautiful OG cover of Elizabeth Elliot and her daughter Valerie is so sweet. And I found it at a used Christian bookstore. And I'm about 40% of the way in, and I've just been taking my time and highlighting basically everything because everything is so good in this book. And every time I read it, I'm always like, this is why I love it. Like every time I'm just completely um enamored by just how edifying and like I'm going to like everybody should give this to their teenage daughter because this book was Elizabeth's gift to her daughter Valerie when she was engaged. And it was just like, it's just like a love letter to her daughter. And there's just so much goodness in here. Stuff that I need to read it like annually, honestly, because it's just such good reminders. And then I'm also going through Held by Abby Wedgeworth. I had heard about this before, but actually, my pastor gifted this book to me, and there's actually a men's one too by a guy. I don't even remember what it's called, but there's like compatible devotionals and it's for families that have gone through miscarriage and pregnancy loss, stillbirth, stuff like that. So it's 31 biblical reflections on God's comfort and care in the sorrow of miscarriage. And I'm pretty sure I'm more than halfway through this one. And this one I've just been kind of going through, and there's little like journal prompts at the end. And it's really nice. And I highly recommend it to anybody that has gone through a loss and wants just some encouragement. And yeah, this was just a really sweet book. And our pastor got that for me. And then when I do my devotions, I usually do them. There's two different like pockets in my day that I do them. I either do it when I'm like having my grounding session outside in the morning, or I do my devotions in the afternoon before or after I do my workout. Because there's usually a time in the afternoon where I'm in my office and doing like admin work and I want to work out. And it's like before I take a shower and I'm just kind of in here and that's where all my books are. So sometimes I'll do my devotional at that time. So it kind of goes back and forth. So anyway, let's get into our current cleaning method or schedule, or it doesn't have to be super detailed, just like what our current routines are. Marcella.
Okay. Cleaning routines are kind of my kryptonite when it comes to homemaking tasks. Like, it is the one thing that I've probably had the most trouble
Mhm.
keeping up with over the years. Like, I feel like even after postpartum or illness, like getting back into the kitchen feels so much easier than getting
Mm,
back into like cleaning the house. I don't know why that is. Maybe because people absolutely have to eat every day, but um things don't have to be deep cleaned every day. That might be why.
right. Right.
Anyway, but yeah, so cleaning has been super up and down as far as like routines go. However, there are the musts that happen every single day, and that includes dishes, laundry, and general tidying. So, you, if you were at my house, you will almost never see a bunch of dirty dishes in our kitchen by the end of the day. Like, I think that's one thing Jed and I are really like
Mm,
on the same page about is like we
mhm.
both cannot stand the dirty dishes. And like I was saying earlier with the morning routine stuff, sometimes a few odd things get left out. But it is never like a whole day's worth of dishes are going to be left in the kitchen. So dishes absolutely have to happen. Otherwise it just drives me nuts. And then laundry is also a must. Sometimes Sundays, I usually take Sundays off from laundry unless it's like an absolute necessity. And then the rest of the week, I'm doing a load every day or two loads every other day. It just kind of depends. And then general tidying, toys, random clothes, the usual cleaning up after meals, like things like that. So outside of those, like kind of bare bones cleaning things, there are some weeks where I'm doing some kind of deep cleaning every day. Like I'll just get this urge to just deep clean everything, and I'm just like on a deep cleaning frenzy. And then there are other weeks where no deep cleaning happens at all. So It really just depends. I do try to follow loosely like the Fly Lady zone cleaning system
Mhm.
because I find that instead of having a list of things that have to happen every week. It's just tasks that are on rotation. So
Yes.
it's not like this has to be done this week or it will never get done. It's like,
Mhm.
no, this is this section of this like deep cleaning. It's going to come back into my schedule or into my rotation of cleaning. So that's what I really like about like the zone cleaning kind of thing. And plus it kind of takes the brain work out of it. Like it's already
Mhm.
decided for you what you're going to be cleaning that day. If you have the time to do deep cleaning, it's like this is the room you're doing and this is what you're going to be doing. So, anyway, and then I've also been making a goal to declutter and purge the house on a regular basis, which is pretty easy for me. Like I don't mind taking the time and energy to purge closets, toys, kitchen stuff, trash, like no matter what it is, like I'm usually pretty good about getting bags of things over a few months to take to the thrift store or, wherever it may be. So, that is also something that happens on a regular basis. And I have different like decluttering lists for each season of the year that I can focus on. So sometimes it's like digital decluttering where I'm going through my phone, my tablet, and like digital files, like pictures, like that whole thing. Other times it's like going through toiletries and makeup is like in one season of the year, and then kitchen stuff like the dishes and the pantry and all that. So I have all of that sectioned out as well. That way, that is also kind of a rotating thing. Like if I didn't get to it this season, then I know I'll be able to probably get to it in the next one.
Yeah.
Um, so that's about as far as it goes for me. As far as cleaning, it's really nothing special. So yeah.
Yeah, and I want to plug, we did one big in-depth Fly Lady episode a couple seasons ago. So go ahead to, if you haven't listened to that one or you need a refresher on the Fly Lady cleaning routine, we have a whole episode dedicated to that. And I also have a ton of Patreon exclusive Fly Lady content, including zone cleaning. I have digital downloads that are dedicated to Fly Lady. So we have all that on the Patreon as well. So, like I said earlier, I have stuck to the Fly Lady morning routine for years. It's something that I can rely on. And sometimes if I'm not feeling well or I'm a flare up, sometimes the morning routine is all I can do. Or again, Ryan will jump in and do it if I'm like bedridden or anything. But our situation right now is kind of unique because we have, and it's a very, very, very good problem to have. So I want to preface that I understand how it sounds, but our house is so big that it's very difficult for me to keep up with cleaning it on a very regular or weekly basis. Like cleaning it top to bottom is what I mean, like hardcore deep clean. So there are a couple things that I do. I have different like seasons and what I do for specific situations. So at least once a month, at the very least, and sometimes it's multiple times a month, we are either hosting a gathering for church or we're hosting people to come for dinner or something like that downstairs. And then we also have situations where at least once a month, with the exception of maybe a couple months this year, we've had somebody come to stay with us for a night or up to a week. And so when I'm anticipating hosting where nobody needs to come upstairs to where the bedrooms are, I will do a home blessing, which is another Fly Lady term. I'll do a home blessing, which is almost like a hour downstairs. And I've learned to kind of break up the home blessing through a couple days or a week. And then if we're hosting somebody to stay with us, then I will do a home blessing upstairs and I will break up the home blessing tasks throughout the week as well. And then sometimes I'll do like a traditional Fly Lady Power Hour home blessing of the whole house. But again, it's only 10 minutes per task. I'm not going to vacuum every room of the house. That would be impossible to do in 10 minutes. Like it takes 10 minutes for me to do maybe the downstairs vacuuming. And that's me doing like a quick crap job. So, and then if I'm not hosting that week, and I don't anticipate people coming over, then I don't do a home blessing, but I do either a zone clean, which is only supposed to be 15 minutes. So if you are doing more than 15 minutes, you're not doing those, you're not doing the Fly Lady method correctly, because the Fly Lady method is supposed to be something consistent and short and reliable for different seasons of life. So if we are going past what Marla Siley has recommended, then we are making a monster out of the Fly Lady. And like I have become that in different seasons of life where I'm like pushing myself beyond the normal zone clean, because either I'm like on a roll and I'm like excited and I'm like in the zone, literally in the zone, and I'm just like, well, I might as well do it. But then it always burns me out, and then I'm always like, well, that sucked, and now I'm in pain, or now I'm exhausted and I don't want to clean tomorrow, or I don't want to, do extra things. So sticking to my 15-minute zone clean when we're not anticipating people coming over, I will pick a zone, either the bedrooms or the offices or the kitchen or whatever. And then I have a list of tasks that I'll break up 15-minute sessions throughout the week until I'm done with that zone. And then, like Marcella said, the kitchen will come back. If I can't get to the microwave this time, then next month the microwave will show up again. And another area of my kitchen will not be as dirty. So then I can clean the microwave. So anyway, I don't want to go super, super into the Fly Lady because we have an entire episode dedicated to it. But it's something that I have always relied upon and adapted over the years, depending on my season of life. And I'm just really grateful that I have found something that I can rely on. And even if I don't do all of her routines all of the time, it's something that I can go back to and be grateful for. And then sometimes, which I include this in my blog about zone cleaning, sometimes my zone clean is for decluttering. So if I'm doing a zone, let's say I'm in the bedroom one week, then I will take the whole week in 15-minute sessions or 20-minute sessions to declutter a part of my bedroom. I would open drawers, look in my desk or my vanity, go through jewelry, that sort of thing, and I'll do a purge. And I try to, and I've been pretty consistent at it. I declutter and take bags to the thrift stores at least 4 times a year, like a big haul. And I have a rule that if I go shopping or I inherit a ton of things that I want to keep in the house, I have a 1 bag in, 1 bag out rule. So if I went shopping and I got a bunch of stuff, then that means I need to go through and find 10 things or 5 things to shove in a bag to take to the thrift store. And that's how I keep the amount of things that we have in our house on a very manageable level, because I get very, very overwhelmed with clutter. And if it's taking me so long to declutter every day for me to put a million things away a day, then it's a problem that is easily solvable by getting rid of stuff. And it's hard, and you have to sacrifice and parcel down. And I always say, like, my one thing that I always tell myself if I'm like worried about letting something go is that I can always buy it. I can always find it somehow, even if I can't buy it brand new again, I can find it on Facebook Marketplace. I can find it at the thrift store. I could find it secondhand. I can ask somebody if I can borrow this, if they have it, So I try to have the mindset of like letting things go. It doesn't have to be permanent, it's just not good for the season of life. We haven't used it in a long time, then we're letting it go, and it's not serving our family. So if it's not serving our family, then we're serving it, and we're having to like work around the thing that we keep running into. So that's
Can
my little
I
tip. Yeah,
Can I tag on to what you were saying?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So another thing that I just thought of, when you were talking about keeping the items in the house manageable so you are not spending hours a day trying to, like, tidy up the house
Yeah,
and
put
putting
things
things back
away.
in their place,
Yeah.
is toys with the
Mm,
kids. So
mhm,
how I've been able to, make it manageable with the toys, because I feel like as kids get older, the toys just get smaller and smaller, and there's so many more of them, like, little pieces just everywhere all the time.
mm,
So we've put everything on a rotation. So I would say about 80% of the kids' toys are in a closet, in like storage containers in the little boy's room. And the other 20% is out in the living room. And I think we probably rotate them every 2 to 4 weeks. It kind of just depends.
mhm,
Sometimes they're ready for a new batch of toys sooner than later. Um, and so that really helps. Instead of having all of the toys available to them to play with at all times, they only have so many toys, like a small amount. And honestly, I think some people are under the false impression that if they have way less toys, they're going to be bored. And I have found that the less toys that they have, the more likely they're going to play with those toys for a longer amount of time. Because if there's too many options to choose from, I think it can get really distracting for them. Instead of being able to focus on a few things at a time and have only like 3 or 4 different options of toys. Like, for instance, right now we have like their batch of plus plus blocks. That's one of the toys that they have out. And then they also have like this tool set that they have. So they have those out as well. And then there are other, like, all of their other kinds of blocks are put away in the closet. So I only have a certain amount out at any given time. And then they'll, have some odd things in their rooms. But most of it is in the living room here, like in the main space. And then all of the books are out all of the time. And I feel like that helps so much, because not only does it help me not have to do so much of the tidying, but they're also, like, the 2 older boys especially are at the age where they are cleaning up their toys. Like, they are expected to clean up their toys themselves.
mhm.
And when you give them, like, unfettered access to, like, hundreds and hundreds of toys, it's not only overwhelming for you, it's also very overwhelming for them to take responsibility with the cleaning up. And the littlest one, he's only 1, and he has been, like, catching on, like, when the boys are cleaning up, he kind of, like, follows suit and, like, joins in, which is really nice. And teaching him that he's also responsible for his own little toys to
Yes.
clean up too.
Mhm.
But, and you can start that so early, and we've done that with all of the kids, but
I
it
I don't
helps
know
a
if you've ever
lot.
recommended this book before, but I highly recommend Mary Beakey's book, Teach Them to
Oh,
Work.
yes. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Amazing book.
We probably mentioned it on an episode however long ago. I think I maybe did talk about it. Yeah, that is really good, if yeah, to teach your kids to take responsibility for their things and their part in the household, and yeah, the way that she fleshes that out is really great. Yeah. We both highly recommend that book.
Mhm,
So I think that is also super helpful when you're trying to manage all the things. I feel like with kids, it's like the toys is um, the biggest hurdle with
mhm.
that, and clothes, I think, are like the 2 big things with kids. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there when it came to like the cleaning stuff. I think that's like one of
Yeah.
my biggest tips to keep it a little less stressful, is to not have all of the kids' toys all out at once. And be constantly purging also the whole collection on a regular basis as well. So,
Mm-hmm. Awesome. No, thank you for throwing that in there. So, the last routine we want to talk about for this episode, and then you guys can look forward to part 2 next week, is our exercise slash wellness routines. And for me, this has ebbed and flowed for years. Like, there were times where I was at Zumba several times a week, and that was my main movement. There's been times where hiking was a big part of it, especially when Ryan and I were like dating. We loved to go on like hikes and walks together. And I've gone up and down with joining gyms or doing at home workouts. And I've like tried a ton of things. And there's a couple things that have always stuck. Like, I love taking walks after dinner with my husband, especially when the weather is permitting. And which actually right now is like the best time, but my husband's getting over a sickness. So I'm like waiting for him to get fully better so we can go on our walks, because the weather is like perfect right now. It's like sweater weather, but it's not too cold, and it's just like perfect for walks. So yeah, that's usually something that we do when the weather is fair. And then I recently started, because I mentioned in my last episode that since I got the tonsillectomy, my breathing has improved so much that I feel like I've been able to be more consistent and push myself a little bit more with consistently working out and having something sustainable. So I actually heard about this program years ago from our friend Shannon, who's been a regular guest on our podcast. And then she's also one of our admins on Facebook. And she told me about this program called Mama Strong, and she's done it for years, off and on, whenever her health permits. But I decided that I would start doing it a couple weeks ago once I got cleared for physical activity. And it has been so, so nice. So, Mama Strong is a program made by a mom for moms in every stage of their life. So, prenatal, postpartum. She has a perimenopause and a menopause program. She has a program if you've suffered a pregnancy loss. She has a program if it's been a while since you worked out and you're kind of starting from scratch. She has HIIT workouts. She has mobility workouts. There are so many workouts, and I really appreciate that she dresses modestly in all of her videos. I also really appreciate her emphasis on regulating the nervous system. She teaches you how to breathe properly when you're working out and when you're in rest. It is just, she's a wealth of knowledge. Like, I've absolutely loved doing her programs, and I've kind of like jumped around 2 different programs. I did her Begin Again course for a couple days. And then I'm almost done with her loss course. And I'm going to go back into the Begin Again course. And then I've done a couple of her mobility videos as well. And everything that I've done, I've absolutely loved. She does them in very sustainable and like not bite size, like depending. She has workouts as small as 5 minutes and as long as an hour. So wherever you're at in your day, you can find something that you can fit and move. And she even has like a solutions if it's like you are doing the absolute bare minimum. Like, there's no excuses with her program. Like, it's so good and it's really affordable. I signed up for a $5 a month for 3 months, and then it goes to $12 a month. You have access to her entire library and her community and her calendar schedule and everything. And she has an app and she has a web-based program, and you don't need equipment for it, but some of her workouts, she implements free weights. Some of it, she implements like a mat or bands, like, what are those called? Balance bands, or no, they're not balance bands. What are they called? I don't even know.
like resistance bands or
Resistance
like
bands. Thank you. Yes, resistance bands. I don't know why it's late. I don't know. So, and she even, in her workouts, she gives modifications for people. So if you want to do something more advanced during the workout, she'll give you a modification. Or if you need to do something a little bit more low key, then she gives a modification. So I think she's covered every single base, like everything that I could possibly need to do. And she's like a really fun personality. It's just one lady, one mom doing it all. And I just think it's so cool that she has this business for herself. Anyway, so I wish I had an affiliate link, but I don't. I think she does have an affiliate program, or at least like a referral program. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. But I've been doing my workout after I'm done with like my cleaning for the day, like my zone clean or my declutter or whatever I'm doing. Because after I've done like my big clean and I'm like already kind of sweaty, then I'm like, perfect, might as well do a workout. And then I'll get ready and shower, get ready for the day. And it's usually like after lunch. I will eat, depending if we have something going on the afternoon, then maybe I'll do my big clean and work out and shower in the morning. But typically, if we're not going anywhere in the afternoon, then I will wait after lunchtime. I'll do my bigger clean or bigger projects. And then I do my workout and then I'll take a shower. And it's really nice. So I've been really enjoying this routine and I've really been enjoying the Mama Strong workout videos. And I highly recommend it to anybody. It's really, really cool. What about you?
Okay, so kind of the same as you. I have been doing things off and on. I mean, we both have been pretty active pretty much our whole lives. Just it kind of ebbs and flows. Like, you'll have your health issue flare ups and you'll kind of be
Mhm.
down for a season, or I'm at the tail end of pregnancy, or like,
Yeah.
postpartum, and, you're like a whale at that point and just can barely walk around. Anyway, so so we kind of like take turns. I feel like we're both in like a good season right now of,
Yeah. Thank you, Lord.
something, yeah, being a little bit consistent. Anyway, most recently I was doing a like 12-week program of full body workouts, and it's like 3 times a week that I'll do those, and I just recently finished those. So I've been kind of like floundering, making up my own thing for a little while, which I feel like after you've done so many of them, you can almost kind of curate your own, which I've just been
Mhm.
doing, which is kind of fun. And I think I'll probably want to start on another, like, 8-week program or something like that, because I feel like it takes more of the brain work out of it, so I'm not having to come up with something on the spot. It's just like the workout was laid out for me, and all I need to do is just do it instead of
Mhm.
coming up with it as well, which is kind of annoying sometimes. Anyway, so usually I'll do my workout either during the kids' nap times in the middle of the day, or with Jed, if our workout days line up together, which they have been a lot recently, which has been nice. After the kids go to bed at night, or even sometimes when the kids are up and Jed is home on his days off, we'll just, sometimes there will just be a lull in the day and the kids are playing or everybody's pretty content and happy, and I'll just bring in some of the equipment from our garage into the house and just do a quick workout um, when they're up. So it's kind of all over the place, but most of the time, recently at least, it's been after the kids have gone to bed. And we know that, everything else is taken care of, everybody's in bed, there's not going to be a lot of interruptions. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, let's see here. And all of the um, workouts that I've been doing have been consisting of equipment that Jet has accumulated over the years. So I think that maybe I briefly talked about this in
Mhm.
the last episode, but we have a lot of things like kettlebells, we have resistance bands, other random things like we have water weight bags, we have sandbags, we have anchors for doors, and things like that. So I have kind of a large range of things to choose from, which is nice. And sometimes on the days where I cannot conjure up something in my head, like, as far as, like, what's gonna be a good, like, full body workout, you guys are gonna laugh at me, but literally, I'll just go on ChatGPT and put in, like, give me a 25-minute workout, w consist or including these specific, things like kettlebells or whatever it is that I wanna use, and, directed towards a female who is wanting to focus on this specific thing, and then it'll
Mhm.
give me like this whole thing, and it's so great. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's like going to be my workout for the day. So I've also utilized some AI for my workouts.
I love it. I love
um,
it. I use
yeah,
ChatGPT all day.
I know. Anyway, so that kind of helps like on the days where I'm not like in the middle of a program, but I don't want to worry about coming up with the whole thing on my own.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then on my off days, I just try to get a walk in at some point during the day, and sometimes that doesn't even happen, and it's just an off day completely, and I'm not doing anything. There's no walking, there's not really stretching or anything like that. It's just like no physical
Struggling.
activity.
Well, but I always try to remind people that homemaking and chasing after little people is physical activity. Like,
Oh yeah,
I
I
know
know.
we always don't count it. We don't count it. But like, if you've been on your
Yeah.
feet all day in the
Oh
kitchen
yeah.
and bending over and picking up babies all day, you are doing physical activity.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's just
totally.
not like
Yeah.
an exercise hour, or, it's not a dedicated time for movement, but
Right. Yeah.
any movement is movement. You're
Yeah.
already doing better than somebody that's very sedentary.
Oh yeah, I don't think there are really any days that feel super sedentary. Um, and yeah, sometimes with the kids during the day and sometimes at night when Jed is home, um, yeah, we'll get a walk in during the day when the weather is nice. And that's always fun because the boys can ride their bikes and we'll be pushing Liam in the stroller and yeah,
Cute.
so yeah, and then besides that, light stretching on the days off. Like it really just depends. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. It's nothing crazy. I do think having like doing the program like you have like the Mama Strong stuff that you can kind of go through, and
Mhm.
I really like that she has so many different things, like even time specific things that you only have time for like a 10-minute workout, then
Mhm.
something like that is really good um if it feels really overwhelming. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in our part 1 episode, and next week in part 2, you can look forward to us talking about our weekly commitments that we have, our current family worship routine, other family rhythms, including stuff that we do with our husbands and Marcella's kids, and then also our current evening routine. So join us next week as we talk about all that stuff in part 2. Bye.
Bye.